Item 1, a motion regarding proposed approval by Seanad on the Planning and Development Exempted Development Number 4 Regulation 23. Can I ask leader to move?
I move.
Agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed.
And we move now to a motion read the proposed approval by Dáil of the Planning and Development fees for certain applications Regulation 2023, and I call on Minister of State Ciaran O'Donnell to move the motion.
I move.
And point of order. Yes.
The procedure for dealing with such motions is on foot of a motion from the Dáil. The proposed regulations are discussed at committee, and only after that discussion at committee is a motion then brought forward to this House to deal with the regulations either with or without debate. In this instance, that process has not been properly followed. We only discussed the regulations at our committee yesterday. Minister O'Donnell was there with us. There is very, very significant concern both in opposition and government parties at committee yesterday with certain aspects of the first of the regulations. There was nobody who was opposing the spirit of the regulations, but the duration of them, the possibility of those regulations leading to very, very substandard accommodation for people fleeing war in Ukraine and elsewhere. The motivation for those regulations being primarily from the commercial sector, not from the interests of possible residents, left all of us very dissatisfied. And in fairness to Minister O'Donnell, he wasn't in a position to answer some of the questions that weren't pertinent to his portion of this discussion. Many of us then asked for the motion to be amended so that we could have a proper debate. That has been denied. This is the wrong way, Minister, for this to proceed. Our committee wants to work with you. You saw that yesterday, both government and opposition. I'm asking you to reconsider and give us that 55-minute debate to get this matter correct.
Point of clarification.
Minister, we also have a...
Yeah, and Carla, just to say that the practice on this usually is that this is not scheduled without debate until it's gone through the committee. Now, we didn't raise objections to this because in the past, any time, this is obviously the last sitting week, in the past, any time that we've sought to have that 55-minute fixed debate after it comes from committee, government has always gone with that request. So this is unprecedented now, and certainly in terms of my experience, that when that's requested, when we facilitated the government, when we requested that 55-minute debate, having serious issues come up with the committee, for that to be refused. So I think it's poor procedure, poor practice by the government to do that. I think the very least, given there will be very serious concerns about this, and we are trying to work with government on this to get these resolved, at the very least the government should have agreed to that request for that 55-minute fixed debate. And certainly if that's the way the government's going to proceed in future, I certainly won't agree to any motions going forward without a fixed debate and being rushed through committee like that, if that's the way the government's going to proceed.
Thank you, Deputy. If I could just put it to the floor before you say anything, Minister, that it appears there are 3 motions, yes, and it's motion number 3 that we have and that you have an issue with.
We understood that all 3 will be taken together, and it's actually
They're moved separately. So will I move the...
So is it possible to agree that we move the first and second motion and defer motion number 3? That's agreed. That's agreed.
No. Can we give? So can we maybe by way of clarification, you might move motion 1 and motion 2, and then I'll discuss. I'll comment to motion 3. Okay. So
with the agreement of the House, that's agreed.
So
okay, Minister.
So you probably need to formally move both. So you moved the first one. So I said I move. You might move the second one, Count Corla.
The second motion being proposed approval by Dáil of the Planning and Development Amendment. Or is the first one agreed? Yes, first agreed. And the second is, as I said, proposed approval by Dáil of the Planning and Development Amendment number...
XX.
XX, well, which is what? Regulations 2023.
So I move.
Is that agreed? Agreed, Minister.
And then formally move the third one, and I'll comment on.
Well, I think we're going to come back to the third one.
No. If you could formally move it, so I'd move it, and then I'll comment on. Then obviously the respective TDs can come in. Just procedurally.
Okay, allow the discretion as it is supposed to be without debate, but it's with the agreement. Thank you. So move.
So I move, and the TDs, respective TDs and members of the Housing Joint Trust may have already made comments. I understood at the committee meeting, and it was a proposal put forward by Deputy O'Brien, that there would be an engagement between the two respective departments, Department of Housing, Department of Children, Disability and Integration, at the committee. Agreed. We were very supportive of that to look further at the motion, but government there is certainly they were brought forward, there is an urgency around this, so it's a matter I will continue to move.
Sure.
Yeah.
Minister, your response misses the point, which is there should not be a motion on the order paper today that was tabled prior to our committee meeting. The procedure here is committee discusses the regulations, and on foot of that discussion, a motion is then forwarded from committee back to the Dáil, who originally sent us the regulations with or without debate. You're absolutely correct. I did propose that we would have an engagement in September about the implementation of this. But after the meeting, I went back to check the order paper and realised no debate was being provided today. We wrote and asked very reasonably for 55 minutes. This is not an issue where we're actually in disagreement on the core principle. This is an issue which all members of the committee, there was Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, Social Democrats and Sinn Féin, who wanted to address three key issues. We want to have that 55-minute debate. It could happen tomorrow. The Dáil will move ahead of schedule as it does every Thursday. 55 minutes tomorrow. Let us have a proper discussion and let us proceed in an appropriate manner.
We've made your point. Is there anybody else?
The business was agreed last week.
Appreciate that. I'm now going to put the question. Basically, we're going to put the question that the third motion be put for division. So deputies in favour, deputies against.
Agreed.
In my opinion, it's carried. Is there a vote on? No. Okay. We move on to Taoiseach's questions. And